Welcome to Saturdays with Tara. I'm Mary Beth at the Law of Attraction Club on the web at theloaclub.com. This Hangout on Air presents our theme for the week. If you're live with us on this Hangout, you're welcome to join us on our conference line for our continued discussion after the Hangout. Please dial in using the number on your screen. We'd love to hear your questions and comments. Our discussion of the theme for the week also continues on our open call each week on alternating Tuesdays and Thursdays. If you're watching the recorded video, we'll be adding pop-up links with more information about us and our extended audio recording. Robin will be bringing through Tara for us today, so we welcome Robin and Tara.
Welcome. Let's start with this question. How did you expect the world to be when you woke up this morning? Because that's exactly how it is. And we don't use the word expect to mean probable. We mean all of your expectation, certainties, the probabilities, the possibilities, the improbabilities, and the impossibilities. Those are what define you and your matching context, the world around you. So let's ask a question more specific to this week's topic. How did you expect your bank account to be this morning? And now let's discuss what you have to do to change your expectations and your bank account. How can the science of getting rich, if such a thing exists, have anything to do with law of attraction money? Surely philosophies like law of attraction have no basis in science. Well, it's not our intent today to get into a whole science versus religion discussion. We're going to cover that in our quantum physics law of attraction discussion coming up shortly. But if science means a no-dogma, no-nonsense, open-minded, rational approach to the subject, then we would say our discussion here is going to be about as scientific as it gets. As always, take what feels good, leave the rest. The simple truth is that making money is not at all about getting into action, and it's fundamentally nothing to do with hard work or staying motivated. It's all about the way you think, because your thoughts create your reality. So we're going to start with the theory of it all, and then we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of it with some exercises that will help you change your thinking habits. We will not promise you that you will end up rich beyond your wildest dreams, because by definition, you cannot manifest things that are beyond what you choose to believe is possible. That's the whole point. You are the one setting the boundaries around your existence. But if you want to change, and if you'll commit to change, and if you will further commit to yourself to stay focused on what it is you want, and to find and use processes like the ones we'll be sharing with you, here's what we can promise you. You will step into a new matching version of you and your reality. A reality that's limited only by your imagination and what you choose to believe is possible. You can have amazing dreams, and they will come true, simply because you choose to expect them to. When you were very young, you played make-believe, and there was no limit to what you could imagine yourself to be. Then, for most of you, as you grew up, there were those well-meaning adults in your life who knew everything, and they persuaded you perhaps that in the real world there are rules and limits, and you have to face reality. Then they put you on track to a good education and steady job so that you could spend most of your waking life doing something you don't want to do. What's wrong with this picture? Well, maybe it's logical and sensible in one version of reality, But you can feel inherently how the creative you desires fun and freedom and growth. You know inherently that there's something very wrong with that picture. Take a moment right now. Look back at that young make-believe you and see throughout your life how you've progressively scaled back your desires to what's practical and possible. But now is now. And now you've attracted us into your world. And we're here to remind you that there's nothing you cannot be, do, or have. Nothing you cannot change. So phooey to all that practical nonsense. Let's figure out how to change that picture to the one you want to be in. If you're new to the way everything in the world works, what we call the absolutes, we encourage you to explore some of our other discussions. But here's the summary. Essentially, you're not a physical being. You're a timeless consciousness, an always connected extension of the collective consciousness of all that is. This, and only this, is what's real about you. Everything else is your story, the one you made up and continue to make up by choosing what to believe about it. The physical you and your physical and non-physical worlds are part of that story. You and nobody else, physical or non-physical, are the only one writing this story. What's in your story? Look around you now. Look at your bank account. That's the story you're telling right now. Changing that story means choosing a new belief and lining up with it. The old subconscious counter-belief might be, money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work to make money. You change that by choosing to believe, for example, that money flows to you easily and serendipitously. Then comes the crucial part, the lining up part. And that's where law of attraction money exercises become really important. The process is simple, but old, well-rehearsed beliefs can take a bit of shifting. Are you committed? Are you focused? Here we go. Start by spending some time picking 5 things that you would do or experience if you had a lot of money. You can pick anything, but we'd start with things that are not too big a leap for now. As your confidence builds, you'll blow past these early goals. Write them down. Get mentally invested in them by putting down some juicy details about them. Once you've got them fleshed out, commit to revisiting each of them once each day. That's 5 sessions a day with the following routine. Let's call it the make-believe routine. Get yourself to a quiet place and spend whatever time it takes. Initially, that might be 5 minutes, but as you get comfortable with this, it may take only a few seconds. Do whatever feels good. You'll know. Let yourself really get to the place where you're simply having so much fun in the imagining process that you stop caring about actual manifestation. Then, 1, imagine how it would be to experience it. 2, imagine how it will be to experience it. 3, imagine how it is. Be in that place now. As you start, Tell yourself there's nothing more important on earth you have to do right now, because there isn't. Also tell yourself you can do this, because you can. Not only can you, but you're going to get really, really good at this. 1. In the would-be part, we want you to revive that ability you have within you to imagine things. In this phase, you don't have to worry about how you're going to achieve it or how practical it is to want it in the first place. Just let yourself run wild here. Your fairy godmother just waved her wand and there you are. Let yourself get into it. Revel in it. 2. Now in the will be phase, start to really see yourself in that future. In this phase, it's really important to notice if the dreaded hows are starting to creep in, and just observe yourself. Just notice it and let those hows go. How is not and never was your job. Your job is what, and you've decided that, and then line up with that. And that's what you're doing right now. If you feel yourself in doubt and you can't let go of that, go back to would-be and get relaxed about it. If would-be is all you can manage for now, no big deal. You'll grow into this. Practice, practice, practice. 3. Now get to the isness of it. Get into the being place of it. It's a bit like the would-be phase, but now you're stepping into it. You're inhabiting it as a now experience. Once again, let yourself get into it. Revel in it. The good news is you created that virtual reality you call the world by making choices. We encourage you to stop seeing that world as something out there, external to you, that you have to deal with. It's an inside job. New choices begin the change process, and then lining up subconsciously with those new choices completes it. Lining up means replacing some of your deep-seated tapestry of expectations. This 3-step visualization exercise is an excellent tool for achieving that alignment. And voila, new world. And in this new world, doors will appear and open for you that simply didn't exist before. How long does alignment take? That's a function of focus and practice. We would say this. Firstly, choose to believe in yourself and believe in the process. Secondly, if you commit to this exercise for 60 days, you will be able to observe yourself changing. And once that starts, your confidence builds. You develop an ever-present awareness of who you are, and law of attraction money will be appearing in your world. This is your life, and this is how you create it. Those who start with very little and make a lot of money often say that the first million is the hardest, that thereafter it gets easier. You could say that's because they've learned new skills, they've made new contacts, and they're doing new things. But that doesn't explain why many who make their first million end up losing it all again. If you make more money and you go on making more, you have a new mindset. You have a new internal relationship with abundance. Your vibrational resonance is that you now expect to be wealthy. It's that expectation that creates the new you and the new world you inhabit. At the beginning here, we said that making money is fundamentally nothing to do with action or hard work or staying motivated. The operative word here is fundamentally, because in your world, your beliefs rule the day. If you know that hard work is key, and there are many gurus out there that will tell you that it is, then you will not be able to achieve anything without it. But it is not the hard work that creates anything. It's your belief that creates. So choose your beliefs well. We say choose that which feels good to you. And if we were in your shoes, we would leave hard work off the list. Are you getting a sense of the power that you have? In your world, you choose everything. Shortly here, we'll get into a longer discussion where we welcome your questions. But let us add this. Last week, we spoke of one of our 12-a-day quick exercises. And there's a component of that that can be useful here. We encourage you to be the observer of the game as well as a player in the game. Be in the stands as well as on the field. Take 3 to 5 seconds and do a frequent timeout. Simply observe yourself being in the game, your reactions, and how you're feeling. How are you being? This will help you become aware at all times of who you are. What some call enlightenment is nothing more than simple, ongoing awareness. It keeps everything in perspective. Lastly, let us add, go easy on yourself. You chose to be here to experience what it's like to create new things in this focused space-time realm. You're here on the leading edge of creation to have new experiences. Your experiences are real. The world is virtual. Have fun with all of this. When you're having fun, you're doing what you came here to do. When you're feeling good, you're aligned with who you are. Nothing, therefore, can be half as important as simply feeling good. And now let's continue.
If you've been live with us on this Hangout, our discussion continues now on our conference line. You're welcome to join us and bring your questions and comments. Use the number on your screen. If you're watching the recorded video, click the pop-up links on your screen for more info about us and the audio of the full call. And if you'd really like to change your life in the next 12 months, we have 2 fantastic programs you can join right now. Check us out at theloaclub.com/programs.